Curtis Sliwa.
Really trying to help our cause.
The Drive at 5.
We're very honored to have him here today.
77 WABC.
540. Can you believe Murphy, the brand new governor in New Jersey, decided to pay tribute to Springsteen, the boss? Oh, I hate him, I loathe him, I despise him. At the start of his victory presentation, and then he finished it, he back-ended it by praising Bon Jovi. Boy, this guy was just pressing all the buttons last night on the stage. He did some kind of Irish jig. I thought he was going to collapse. And he reminded me of the second coming of Goldmine Sachs' John Corzine without the beard. I mean, I saw him up there. I heard him talking. I said, didn't folks in Jersey do this once before? Steve Adubato, Emmy Award-winning anchor on PBS flagship WNET and NJTV and author of the new book, Lessons in Leadership. Didn't you make that mistake once before?
Well, first of all, Curtis, always a pleasure to be with you in drive time. And you got to give, my opinion, you got to give Phil Murphy a chance to be his own governor, his own man, and demonstrate respectfully that he is not another John Corzine just because they work for the same company, Goldman Sachs. That's like saying every talk show host on WABC is the same. And Curtis, there's only one Curtis Sliwa, and let's see if there's only one Phil Murphy. Listen, his biggest problem is not John Corzine. His biggest challenge, respectfully, my friend, is going to be how the heck to pay for some of the commitments that he has made in terms of fully funding the public education in New Jersey, free county colleges, the public employee pensions being fully funded. He's got to figure out where that money is coming from. That is the challenge. And
he burnt the bridge of getting any additional funds from the federal government, from the Trump administration, when he decided to dedicate his victory speech to an attack on the president without naming him.
We will stand firm for New Jersey's values and push back against the mean winds blowing at us from Washington, D.C. Whether it be attacks on public education or our environment, or attempts to demonize our immigrant neighbors or deport our dreamers, or efforts to push through a federal tax plan that would hurt our state more than any other, or mean-spirited actions to gut our health care. We will stand with steeled spines and simply say and firmly say, with all due respect to Mr. President, you will not do that in the great state of New Jersey.
Wow, he was puffing out his chest. But is that really going to help him?
Well, Curtis, I will tell you, I respect Ambassador Murphy, Governor-elect Murphy, soon to be Governor Murphy, but here's my advice. The campaign is over. You won. Governing starts now. Translation. Do you think that Chris Christie really liked and politically had anything in common with Barack Obama after Superstorm Sandy? He was kissing his butt to do what he needed to do, to get what he needed to get from President Obama for the people of New Jersey. So respectfully, when the campaign ends and governing begins, my advice to Governor-elect Murphy is to say, look, I don't like Donald Trump. I think he's a terrible president. I think his demeanor is horrible. But I'm just a guy on the radio with my friend Curtis as a commentator. When you're the governor of the state, my opinion, you have to start building relationships with people you don't like nor respect, because they have things you need for the people you need to help.
Well, in a sense, Steve Adubato, he's like Trump. He has majorities in the state legislature, both houses in Trenton. He's the Democratic governor. But this looming pension problem, during the campaign, neither he nor Guadagno seemed to come up with any kind of a concrete idea of how to rein it in. I don't anticipate that anything's going to be done in that circumstance.
I disagree, Curtis. I disagree. I believe that Ambassador Murphy, soon to be the governor, is going to try to fully fund the pensions for teachers and other public employees. Now, I also believe his strategy to do that, and I asked him in a PBS interview, one-on-one with him as well as Lieutenant Governor Guadagno, but when I asked Murphy about this, he said, look, we need to raise taxes on the wealthiest, the millionaires in the state. He is going to attempt to do that. I also believe, but for the first time in many years, for the first time, that the Democratic-controlled legislature will, in fact, support that. Now, is that all the money you need for the pension? No. but it's a big chunk. My concern and what I expressed to Phil Murphy was, what if some of those millionaires leave the state, go to Florida, or at least establish residence? We no longer get their income tax revenue. That's going to have to be figured out, but he is committed to keeping that promise on pensions. He is not going to welch on that.
All right, but he also promised that in his administration he would lower property taxes. We've heard that before. So you really think he can deliver on that too?
I am going to be hopeful, and I'm going to say it's his honeymoon. I'm also going to say that easier said than done. I'm going to say you're going to have to make some very tough decisions. I also believe you need to cap the increases in salary for police and fire. They are the greatest. Our men and women who protect us every day, our police and firemen. But I believe you absolutely have to cap those increases, because if you don't, property taxes will go through the roof again. And Phil Murphy, in my opinion, needs to tell the unions, cops and firemen, love that you are with me, but we can't afford 5, 6, 10% raises.
Well, let me predict this, Steve Adubato. He may be on a honeymoon, and you may be like swooning right now that a Democrat is governor, but you'll soon be filing for an annulment, even if you don't have to go to the Vatican, because this guy is not going to deliver on either pension reform or lowering the property taxes.